Amy, do you think part-time employees are evil?
I don't really feel like being a part-timer makes you evil. I was a part-timer at one point, and I don't feel like I was evil.
Why didn't you go full-time?
I did after I got out of college.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to say the forces of good can stop you at times for your evil plans.
So you're saying that being a full-timer is when you can...
Yeah, that's when you're no longer morally gray.
Then you're just...
That's when you picked a side, Amy.
Well, does that mean that you're automatically good or automatically evil?
Well, it's up for you to decide.
So I could just decide to be evil and take over the world, and all I have to do is be a full-time worker?
Well, yeah, that's when you have power to make important decisions.
So is there like... okay, so does that mean that there's like... You go to a job, you like, I want to apply for the take over the world, be evil position?
You can't be that straightforward. That's never... You got to be subtle about it. I want the full-time position. You give the signs, the signals, and they're like, oh, I understand.
Are you sure they really understand? Or do they just go along with it?
It's in the fine print. You just got to read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll work on that.
I guess I should review my contract as an employee.
Oh, you should.
Is that your devil's a part-timer face?
Amy, I'm doing a thumbnail. I have to be perfectly still.
But this is a recording. This is not the picture taking.
Oh. Well, then I just look like a fool. I don't know what to do.
I don't think you needed help with that.
Okay. Thanks. So, what are we reviewing today?
We're reviewing Devil is a Part-Timer.
Ooh. When?
Season 1.
Oh,
season 2's not out yet, so it's season 1.
Well, I hope they make a season 2, or do I? You have to watch the whole video to find out. But this was the video that I was watching during our first intro. So there was a little bit of a teaser. I hope we don't get sued by Funimation or whoever owns it.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't playing enough for us to be sued.
Well, I'm just saying, they track down every YouTube channel that does any sort of content, and we're going to explode. I'm thinking 100,000 views is what we're going to get on this one.
Well, that's a great shot to... We'll see.
Okay, all right.
Give it some
time. We'll see the viewer count, and then I'll be right. But anyways, yes, today we're viewing The Devil is a Part-Timer, or Kachoko no Bako. I'm making that up.
Is that actually the real one?
No, it's not. It's not.
I don't know what it is in Japanese either.
Over time, you'll see that I cannot pronounce any Japanese titles. Thank God for translations.
But when you watch it in Japanese, it does the subtitle for you of what it is in English. So.
True. But I've only watched this anime in dub. I've not seen it in sub.
I haven't either.
But overall, we'll go over our sub/dub comparison in the future, which, we could have a very interesting opinion about that. You don't know yet. But, yeah. So, I guess the first thing we want to talk about is, first off, the title, which is The Devil's a Part-Timer, which is a fantastic title. It's very concise, it's to the point. Sometimes the title can be translated to The Hero Went to Another Journey and he found himself a new wife. That's a thing.
And he found himself a new wife?
Yeah,
Where did that come in?
Well, harems are very common.
Is that Chiho or something?
Well, it could be. Chiho?
Aw, that's sad.
That is pretty mean. She's a fantastic character. So, anyways, let's move on to the general plot. So, what is this anime about, Amy?
This anime is about the devil who ends up coming to this world and decides that instead of going back to his original world, he's just going to take over this one. And the way to do that is he's going to get a part-time job at McDonald's.
Yeah, not McDonald's, McRonald's, all right? We don't want to get McDonald's on this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that will just lead to world domination somehow. He's never really clear about how that will go about happening, but that is his goal.
They say you win people's hearts through their stomachs, so maybe that's his plan in the long run. We'll have to see.
I guess that's true, but
yes.
I mean, it doesn't really seem like the logical step of taking over the world.
I don't think there's much logic in the show.
I don't think of going to a fast food joint and being like, yes, working here is going to lead to world domination.
Yeah. So essentially what pushes him to come to our world, though, is that he gets pushed out by the hero from his world, and so he uses magic. So magic is a part of this universe, even though in our world it's very limited. For some reason, it's just not in the air or something like that. So he has no power, and that's why he's...
And he can't go back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But anyway, so what do you think about the characters in this show, Amy?
I would say overall, I really love the characters. I don't think that there's one character that I like can say I didn't like at all or anything. I mean, obviously, I dislike the evil characters.
Well, yeah, they're
because
bad.
they're evil.
Yeah, no one likes bad guys.
But I don't feel like any of them were like poorly done or not good. I think all the characters are really excellent.
Yeah, I think all the characters have fantastic personalities, and just to go through some in particular, like Sadao Mao is the main character, and you just don't know his, like, he comes off good, but maybe he's got an evil agenda. We really don't know even at the end, but it seems like his actions constantly show him being good. But him and his compatriot Alciel, am I saying?
Alciel, I think.
Yeah, I'm probably saying it wrong, but anyways, their interaction's hilarious. I just love how it started off with them not knowing the language and then like adapting to the culture.
That's true.
And then there's Amelia, Emmy.
Emmy Yusa.
Emmy Yusa, the hero. She's great. I mean, she needs to get over it, though. I mean, I'm not going to ruin what she needs to get over, but she needs to get over it, if you know what I mean. Her motivation for...
Well, yeah, but I mean,
so
she
what?
doesn't go over...
I mean, we go through parents a lot these days.
She doesn't seem to really be stuck to her mission, in my opinion, but we can get that more in the spoiler zone.
Chiho is his coworker at McDonald's. She's pretty great. She's adorable, funny. I think oftentimes, a lot of times in animes, like the female, like I guess love interest kind of deal could be kind of portrayed as very vulnerable or just kind of like almost a afterthought. But I felt like her role was pretty strong in the series.
Yeah, she's definitely a really strong character. She's in it a lot. She's also a very energetic character, so it's not like she's like a shy character. She's pretty much in your face.
And I think she opens up pretty early too. Like she doesn't hide what she's really feeling until like the last episode.
I don't feel like Chiho can hide anything.
This is true. As for the villains, like I mean, do we want to ruin all the villains, or do we want to just kind of? I'll just describe them high level. I think they're pretty good. I think they're entertaining to watch. I don't feel like it's a good surprise here and there, and even what happens to them later is a pretty good surprise. And of course, does that? Well, I feel like I'm on the verge of spoiling everything here. But what do you think of the villains on a general level?
I feel like all of them are good. I think all of them are like an appropriate hardness. Like, you know, it's not like they can just be taken out like right away or whatever. I feel like they all have interesting motivations. So overall, I think they did a good job with the villains, and I think it's nice because usually they're a little bit of a surprise. Like you don't automatically know, like, oh, this person's gonna be the bad guy.
I just love their intros half the time and their conversations because, like, Sadao has like the motivations of being an employee and also defeating them from time to time.
I know, but and sometimes even because he's an employee, he must defeat them.
Yeah, because, you know, he gotta defend
his turf.
Yeah, his perfect attendance record to that. So, moving on to the next thing. So, the animation. Did you like the art style of the show, or do you think it could be improved?
I really like the art style. I think it's a really... I don't want to say like common art style, but I feel like it's more of the modern, like typical modern style. It felt normal,
I guess. It wasn't something completely outlandish where you have to process their limbs being so skinny or
right. And they don't have like some animes have like the different colored hair. I mean, Emmy Yusa has the pink hair, but that doesn't really seem crazy.
It felt like it was natural in the universe.
So yeah, I feel like overall I really like the animation. I like the art style. I feel like they did a good amount of like budget on the actual animation.
Yeah, for the combat and then the fight scenes and stuff like that. For me, a lot of times what I look at, the eyes. Like sometimes eyes can have shapes in them, like plus and minus sign, X and O's, hearts. These were semi-normal eyes.
Semi-normal.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the eyes. This is important. But Sadao's eyes and Alciel's, they're demons, or devils, or whatever you want to call them. But you see that in their eyes, so you're like, okay, these are not humans, but it's not like completely outlandish. Yeah, you didn't expect me to bring up this topic, did you?
I didn't, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're going to be, in our next review, we're going to talk about eyes as well. And you're going to...
eyes are very important to him.
Yeah.
Eyes.
I'm sorry, make eye contact. I'm sorry. Is that rude? I don't think that's rude.
He makes eye contact with every character.
Every character. I get to know them inside and out.
Eyes are the windows to the soul.
I was gonna say, you know, I can, you know, if when people look away, they're hiding something. I'm just saying that. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
I see what you did there. Yeah. But no, the animation overall was good. I think it's an older anime at this point, isn't it? And it came out like 2013 or 15.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to like 2012. I'm sorry, I didn't do my research ahead of time.
It's fine, but I think the animation still holds up because I think a lot of times there's some animes I just cannot watch because they're so old, even if they're fantastic anime. So I think you can watch this 20 years from now and still say it's a good art style for that.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on to the next thing, I guess now we can go into spoilers. So if you don't want to see spoilers, can you do timestamps over
Yeah,
again?
I'll do some timestamps. You can just skip ahead to the ending and just skip all the spoilers.
Want me to point in direction? I was like, can you put it right there?
It's gonna it'll be on the bar.
It'll be somewhere. Yeah, so go to that point if you want to skip the spoilers.
In the description, you can also click it too.
I'm just gonna stare at you and get to know you better by looking you in the eye. Or you can look right in my eyes, and
you might not want to look him in the eyes. You don't want to know what's there.
You don't want to know shapes my eyes can make. Okay, cool. Now moving on to spoilers. So, I enjoy the fact that Sadao, like there's always that he was evil in his old world. Like apparently he killed, or at least led the armies because it was Lucifer that technically
led the armies that led the armies.
It is literally how that works. It was Lucifer's army that killed Emmy's parents, or parent, her pop, as she called him.
But I will say I don't really know. Okay, I do think that yes, he might not have been as good of a guy, but I also feel like
Sadao, you mean, or Lucifer?
Sadao.
Okay.
But I also feel like the church has proven itself to be horrible,
yes.
And so maybe there's a reason that he was trying to discriminate, or
discriminate.
Sorry,
that makes it pretty evil.
Exterminate.
Oh yes, exterminate.
Mankind.
Another good word for a good guy. Exterminate.
I'm just saying, there might be a reason. It might be that the church and the people are just horrible. I think
you brought it up a few times. Like his goal was to secure a place for demons or devils. It wasn't necessarily to kill everyone. That just happened to be a side effect of war, because war is bad on both sides. And even then, it was I think a little bit orchestrated by Lucifer, but because he's still under Sadao's charge, or leadership, that the blame falls on him. So that being the chief motivation for Emmy to hunt down the devil, and then she's constantly seeing him do good things, and it's a huge internal conflict with her, whether or not to stop him or to side with him.
Well, right. I mean, and then he comes to this world, and he actually has to interact with people, and people who don't want to just murder him, and then he finally realizes that, hey, there can be some good sides to humans, too.
Chiho is probably a big element to why he's such a good guy. I do love Chiho. She's probably one of my favorite characters in the show, and she's funny and all that, and clearly constantly wants his attention, but he's like, I don't know.
I just love that she's in love with him even after she knows that he's, this really bad demon dude.
Well, scary looking demon. I don't know what bad is, because she never sees him do anything bad. She always hears about him doing stuff bad.
That's true, but I mean, I still feel like normal person would have some hesitation when finding out that, someone's a demon or a devil. I feel like you would at first be a little bit okay, that's a little crazy. But she's just nope, he's great.
When you're a teenager, though, first love, it's just you're just blinded by it.
It's a strong thing.
Alciel is constantly sick through the end of that show.
I know.
It's very funny, and he always has to get his cape. Which
that is the best.
You've got to respect showmanship here.
Sorry, it took me so long. I had to run home and get my cape.
And then, so they fight Lucifer, and then when Lucifer joins them, he becomes a NEET.
What's better, having to go get your cape, or having to take off your clothes because you don't want to ruin your work attire?
Well, I mean, it's either naked. It's do you want to be a man of action or a man of appearance? It's kind of a mix, two sides there. I liked what was her name? I liked her so much that Suzuki. I loved her. She and my favorite scene is when Emmy and her are talking. They're both from Ante Isla, and the whole time they think they're on the same page, and at the end she's like, "Yes, I'm from Ante Isla." What? You're from Ante Isla? And there's a big shock about that. I like her character arc a lot. I think it's very funny, and she read old Japanese things to be okay, I'm gonna show up in a yukata and say words that are
But even though she knows later, she gives her, Emmy gives her all those magazines, and yet she still buys more yukata.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you like a look, I'm just saying, this is my lucky shirt, in case you missed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. For a lucky review like you. which I guess is the review I'm talking to, or the people.
I don't know. So.
All right, moving on. And then, of course, there's Alba. You know, he's got the magic power of the gun, which, I mean...
Okay, when we were watching this, we both watched it before, but we were rewatching it. All he would say is, it's Alba with the gun.
I mean, it's just...
Even if it wasn't Alba, it's still Alba with the gun.
I think if I had to pick a superpower, gun is pretty consistent. So, Alba with the gun. And so he's a great villain for the fact he brandished the Second Amendment, folks, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he's really the reason
in Japan
why...
has that, right? Do they have the second? I don't think they actually do.
Not.
Yeah, I don't think they do. But, and then, you know, there's the last two characters. We'll keep that. You can watch the show. They're at the end there. So,
yeah.
But anyways, so there's some great characters with that.
Do you have a favorite... Do you think your favorite part would be between Emi and Suzuki? Or did you have a moment that, like, really stood out and you're like, that's where I knew I loved...
I mean, it's a lot of scenes with Chiho just making, like, they for some reason she's, I feel like, the piece that redeems Sadao Mao more than anything, because she's the one that's, like, kind of the audience's voice of, like, he's doing a good thing, he should be viewed as a good person. So it's like anytime, like, when Sadao fixes the bridge or, like, saves all those people's lives, it's like, okay, well, he's a good person now, even if his past actions don't reflect that. So I think it's not necessarily a particular scene, but I guess the buildup of all those scenes together. So.
Gotcha.
Well, what's your favorite scene then?
I don't know if I have a favorite, 100% favorite scene. I feel like that's really hard because this anime is filled with a lot of good things, a lot of good scenes. I think the thing that might be my favorite thing about it, though, is all of the quips and all of the, like, memes and, like, the different things that they say that you just know where they're getting that from, and you're just like, yes!
They remind me of a lot of dude bros in very serious situations. So, and that's kind of my humor, too, so it really resonated with me.
One cannot simply enter into a school they do not attend.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know exactly what that is.
Oh my God,
and
that
lines like that, it's just, it tops the cake. That's what makes it.
They are cake toppers.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the second to last thing before we give our official ratings, would you give The Devil is a Part-Timer a recommendation?
I definitely would recommend it to anybody and everybody. I feel like this has a lot to offer a lot of different people, no matter what kind of genres you like or don't like. I think if you like comedy, you've got it. If you like the fantasy, you got it. If you just like, you know, it's not really a slice of life.
It's not at all a slice of life, but go on.
But it does have those elements of, like, slice of life kind of thing.
Well, I guess
like they're
normalcy,
cooking and, like, going to the job and
they
go to the water park.
They actually have to use the bathroom. This is a part of the show.
Yeah, Alciel's just in there the whole time.
The entire last 4 episodes.
But I just feel like there's a lot of different elements that people could like and enjoy about it. So I definitely recommend it 100%.
Good. I hated it. I'm kidding. I actually really liked it.
I
wanted to have an opposing opinion to see the. Anyways, no, I enjoyed it as well. For a lot of the similar things you said, honestly, I've watched it like 4 times too. The rewatchability of this show is insane.
It gets even better than.
If you give it a little time, the jokes are like fresh again. I don't know how it does that.
Yeah.
And like even if I've seen the parts like with Suzuki and Emi and all that stuff, it still resonates with me. So
I agree.
So what would you give it? Your final rating? And you can use any measurement. This is the first one. I mean, I'm gonna have a measurement, but if you want to go crazy with it, go ahead.
Well, I kind of felt like we were going kind of like a out of 10 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's actually what we're gonna do, 100%.
So yeah, I feel like it's a little hard to give it a 10 out of 10 because it is so short, and I just want more, and it also doesn't really have an ending, and I just want more. So I think I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, and that 0.5 is just because it didn't...
Because I don't have enough. I need more.
That's a good problem to have.
People who are doing the animation studio, I didn't
know that
either. She's got a need
for more Devil as a Part-Timer.
And I've heard that there's supposed to be season 2, so
we've heard that for like
it.
4 years, though. It's every spring for 4 years in a row.
Well, they better finally get on that.
Okay.
I mean, technically, Attack on Titan had like how many years in between, and they still got another one. So bring it back.
Do you want me to do the Attack on Titan's final season part 1? You don't do a final season part. It's the final season. It's final.
Greg.
Okay.
Well,
all
we
right.
can say that for another time.
Anyways,
Devil's a part-time.
So my rating, I give it $14.49, our state's minimum wage, out of 10. which, yes, I'm cheating, and that's because we need to raise the minimum wage.
Well, I can definitely agree with that.
Hopefully you're not getting paid. Anyways, well, those are our thoughts.
We'd love to hear what you think of Devil's a Part-Timer.
Only if it's good.
1.
We don't want any negative comments in the comment box. So.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay,
I mean, you have to explain why you don't like it.
As long as you're rational, I will take it in and filter it and probably ignore it. But anyways.
But then he'll probably just start a YouTube war with you in the comments, and then...
Those are always fun. No one gets hurt.
So,
Yeah.
Be ready for that.
But anyways, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed our dialogue, and we hope to see you in more reviews in the future.
Right, and don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you enjoy us. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.